something else to watch. It's a long set between Yakkun and Rikimaru. Rikimaru is one of the better Chun-Li players in the world. And Yakkun is maybe the best Yun currently. He absolutely tore up Cooperation Cup recently. And this is 54 minutes of them playing. So this is a rare treat. This is two of the best players of two of the best characters. We're going to learn a lot about the matchup right now. No, those characters have more than that. Or they have that much. Hugo has more, so does Alex. Actually, Alex might be 1100. I mean, 1200, I mean. I think Alex has more health than that. But what I was saying is high tiers usually have low health. And all those characters are bad. Okay. Okay. Kuroda. What's that? Chun-Li beats Yan. Kuroda. That car throw. I think he got the super on that stand roundhouse. Oh shit, Kuroda was right! No! Kuroda was right all along. Chun-Li really does beat Yan. You have to strike really fast in this matchup. You have to play a lot when Chun-Li has no super, and then, like, turtle up once you get super. And it's shitty, but... Alex Powerbomb is reliable after any medium or hard flash drop, or a very good punish versus a lot of attacks, but also you shouldn't pick it, so... Damn. Kuroda was right. S. He's got an S rank. Certain characters get high ranks easier than others. Chun-Li tends to get decent ranks, I suppose. One of the ways to increase your rank is to reliably get throws that aren't teched, which Chun-Li is phenomenal at because Kara throw. Or to land supers that kill the opponent, which Chun-Li is phenomenal at because she has a hard time killing opponents without using her extremely high damage option of super. Cool. That was a good escape. That was an empty cancel trying to catch Chun-Li moving in. That was probably another one. That's probably another one. It's interesting that he's using that. I didn't notice that. That's probably pretty good against Chun-Li, honestly. Oh, these throws. Rikimaru, what the fuck are you doing? Chun-Li, if she's within a certain range, can reaction super a Geneijian. As long as she has super meter. Yun has to activate from like 90% screen or more. That's a female-only juggle or combo. I don't think it's female-only, but it's like very few characters. Yun gets unusually good follow-ups off of Zenpo Tenshin on Chun-Li. So does Yang. Because she's wide. Weight unknown. Nice! That's not a true block string. You can just parry the second hit. That was good awareness. You can do that with a lot of Chun-Li's cancels. Chun-Li has extremely slow special moves. One thing about Chun-Li that's kind of like, you wouldn't notice it immediately, is she has very few special moves. She's got spinning bird kick, she's got lightning legs, she's got EX. She's got Kikoken. And she's got Hazanshu. And none of those really work in traditional cancels, which is why normal super is preferred for Chun-Li. You see back fierce into fireball into super, but oftentimes the fireball doesn't even hit. And the other special moves don't combo to super at all. It's just a coincidence that Zenpo Tenshin has better follow-ups on other girls. None of the girls share models. Did you get it? That's a tight link. You didn't get it. That's very difficult to do well. You need a very deep universal overhead to combo crouch medium kick on a standing opponent. Ooh. Good parry. Very nice. Stand Fierce catches people trying to go for one high parry. Literally everything Yun has can be beat by... Like, everything high Yun has can be beat by one high parry into punish. Except Stand Fierce. Stand Fierce is two parries. So if people go for one high parry into punish, they get hit by the second hit. It's kind of a neat little little tech piece. Yang has the same thing. I'm going to do all of the battle networks, yes. You can find 1 through 3 now on YouTube. I will go and do 4, 5, and 6 after my foray into Shuriken. Actually, I need to script that if you guys want to help me with that. The first video is completely out of my area of expertise, but all the videos after that will be just, you know, the stuff I always do. Well, it's all going to be out of my area of expertise. I don't want to talk about that too much yet, because I'll probably be talking. I don't want this video archive to be like full of me talking about, like, you know, something completely unrelated to the footage. But then again, I don't know if I'm going to watch all of this right now because it's like, you know, 3 a.m. And also, like, this is an hour of Chun-Li versus Yun, which, while interesting, is probably not interesting to that many people. Like, most people would probably tune into this, but I don't know if anyone watched the full hour besides, like, me. I'd watch the full hour, but maybe not at 3 a.m. I gobble up Third Strike footage. No amount is too much. Theoretically, it's extremely good that I'm now making money for my videos because that means I'm incentivized to make videos. And also theoretically, I could quit my job if this like pays well enough, which would give me a lot more time and incentive to make videos since it would be my only income. Theoretically, this could be the best thing that ever happened to me. But I'm like scared because I haven't done anything yet, and the first thing I have to do is something completely out of like it's completely out of my normal territory. If I could make Street Fighter videos for a living, it'd be my fucking dream. You know that saying? Do something long enough and people will pay you to keep doing it? Whoever said that was smart, because I think it's true. Damn, Chun-Li's cheap. Oh my god. Even if you know this is coming, it's very hard to get out of. I have very few expenses, so I do not need that much money. I probably use $100 to $200 a month. That's how low my expenses are. Like 90% of 90% of the money I spend is on food. I have like no living expenses, and I have like no, I don't spend that much gas because I don't really go anywhere. My work is less than a mile away. And I don't travel or anything. I don't take vacations. I don't buy that many new games. I like usually pirate anything that's new that I want, or just ignore it until the price drops. So literally, like, it doesn't take that much money for me to live. Oh, and the food I eat is really cheap. I mostly eat like canned soup. I live with my mom. I'm 24 and I still live at home because housing in California is fucking expensive. And also a recession, I don't know. I offered to pay her rent, but she wouldn't have it. Even if I basically live in two rooms of this house. So if and when I move out, I'll probably get like the smallest fucking apartment I can get. And hopefully that will also be the cheapest fucking apartment. That Ender looked a little weird. I think he ran out of Ganejin sooner than he meant to. Wow. What an odd ending. If even a very small percentage of my subs donated even a very small amount of money once a month on Patreon, I could make a living playing fighting games, even disregarding my Shoryuken job. Like honestly, I've got like 1,600 subs. I mean 16,000 subs right now. If like if 10% of that gave like $1 a month, I'd be making like more money than I am at my job. Patreon is the way that people like me can function. 1% is pretty generous though from what I find, or 10% rather. 10%. Thinking 10% of the people who follow you will donate to you is like ridiculous. 1% would be lucky. But then again, not everyone wants to donate $1. Some people do more. Patreon is my Patreon is monthly. I tried to set it up to per video, and it like was actually kind of hard to make it work like that, so I gave up. But I just straight up say in my Patreon, I'm just like, this won't make me make more content unless it's enough to make me quit my job, in which case it'll probably make me do more content, but also not necessarily. I was just like, I'm gonna do it for free anyway, and I'm not like if you give me money, that would be cool. That's pretty much what I say in my Patreon description. I'd probably get more people if I said I'd do more stuff if like I got more donators. But I'm really bad about stuff like that. I'm really bad at making commitments. Because then I get nervous about the commitment. That juggle! You almost never see that juggle. That juggle's cool as fuck. It's dive kick at certain heights. Let's actually look at it again because it's bizarre. Dive kick at certain heights into her down forward fierce air command normal. And then you can actually hit the opponent. Like you can land and hit the opponent before they finish falling with like a crouch jab. And if you have Super 1, you can actually cancel that crouch jab into a Super 1, and it looks fucking bizarre. Very unusual juggle there. You almost never see that. Chun-Li has some really crazy tech, but you almost never see it because literally 2 parts of Chun-Li are good all the time, and then the rest of it is only good in extremely, extremely bizarre scenarios. A lot of the videos are like videos that people don't care about that much. I do pump out a lot of videos, like shit like this, and a lot of people do like the Third Strike videos, but like, most people sub to me for like, you know, tutorials for Street Fighter, modern Street Fighter games. When I look at the views that I pull, like the Street Fighter, anything Street Fighter 5 based, even if I don't advertise it anywhere, usually gets like 1,000 views or more. When I do one of these Street Fighter 3 videos, it usually gets like 500 some. When I was doing my fucking Let's Plays, they usually get sub 100, but then they go up kind of slowly. So they usually get up to about like fucking 300 to 800 eventually. But I just play a lot faster than people watch. So I don't see the views for a little while. Ooh, that was a very deep connect dive kick. Dive kicks are pretty much the same plus frames. They're pretty much the same plus frames as jump in attacks. Because jump in attacks have very little hit stun in this game, and dive kicks have an unusually large amount. So dive kicks aren't really worse than normal jump ins. But then you factor in the fact that they change your jump arc and also like change your jump timing. Ooh, nice. That's 3 parries up point blank and 2 parries if the tail end of it hits you. Or 1 parry if the very tail end of it hits you. It's good knowledge from that Chun-Li to get that right all 3 times. Also, it's unsafe. Most everything Yun has is safe in Genei-jin, but his dash punch is unsafe still. But I think if you hit the tail end, you can make them safe. I've done a lot of Battle Network recently, and not a lot of Street Fighter 5. I should record a couple like how to play blank, those character intros. People like those a lot. I should do like Guile and Alex. I have like a decent grasp of how those characters are played. In fact, I might do that tonight. People would really like waking up to that. People like those videos. Yo! Yo! Yo, that was tight. Hold on. Woo! Don't chip out in this game. I like that he blocked and then parried, and I like that he immediately knew when the jab was available. Oh, fuck. That was masterful. Yakkun, please. After, after the first 8 hits, you can interrupt. And he jabbed, like, right after the... He jabbed immediately after the last hit of the first 8 hits. How did he know? Jan's jab might be fast enough that it could just interrupt between kicks, but I doubt it because the kicks are really fast. And normally when you parry, you freeze the opponent for a little amount of time, which guarantees a hit, but that's not true for supers. There's no additional freeze for supers. Normally the parry freezes the opponent a little longer than you, and then you're also hitting them during their recovery. But these kicks are really close together, and you don't have any additional freeze. So he might have just reacted to the fact that it was like a kick that was going down. That's really impressive on several levels. Holy shit. The parries after the red parry aren't hard, but it's hard to be consistent with all of them. It's easy to get one fuck up. And then knowing how to parry the fireball in relation to the super is usually really hard, but it looked like that one was kind of favorable to him. He got lucky, but also that was extremely skillful. Oh, Rikimaru didn't like that. That's a juggle you almost never see. That's like the lowest possible damage Ganajin combo, but it's good in some scenarios. Keeping the opponent in the corner and making sure you get the right ender. After his Zenpo. I think Jan has a really hard time getting re-corners. Like if he has his launcher and Ganajin in the wrong direction. He can do like towards Fierce. I think that's the way you normally do it. Oro has a very easy time. Tengu Stone's is the closest analog to Ganajin. Closer even than, say, Enbu. That was a really early activation. He didn't need to activate it that early. He lost a little bit of Ganai time because of that. Ooh, that was deep. He linked the sweep. That was good. That was a very well-timed universal overhead, and then a very well-timed sweep, and also very good recognition that he hit a crouching opponent. Crouching opponent plus deep connect universal overhead, I think, is the only way you can link sweep. That was extremely skillful. Didn't look that impressive, but it was extremely skillful. There were like 3 components of major skill right there. I've been meaning to look up some guiles on CFN. Now that CFN is a thing, you can easily get like better players' tactics. I want to see who the current best guile is and how he plays. Just frame combos are actually the easiest thing Karine has. The harder juggles she has require you to get non-just frame juggles. Good parry. After Chun-Li hits you with anything, you can watch for a high parry because literally the only thing she can follow up with are high parries. Wow. What an unusual juggle. Was that one-hit jump fierce, or what the fuck was that? I missed it. It was stomp. One-hit jump fierce, I think it resets. How unusual. Oh, the post-KO freeze. That doesn't consume meter. Post-KO supers are about as hard to get in Street Fighter 3 as they are in Street Fighter 4. You can do post KO specials too. That little, you know how you can still move your character around after the KO? You can't input specials. I think the one exception is more Rekkas if you've already done the first Rekka for Yang. The second and third Rekka you can still do. But if you ever see like a post KO supers in vanilla, I think there was no like rule about them. I don't remember actually. I didn't play vanilla that much. I didn't like Street Fighter 4 when it was in vanilla, which is kind of interesting because we got the link. Catching opponent made it easier. Didn't look like the height that would work on a standing opponent. It was like not a perfectly timed universal overhead. It's interesting how many people didn't like vanilla, or like how different vanilla was from like, you know, Ultra, and thinking about how Street Fighter 5 is in its vanilla state right now. The game is only going to go up. It's hard to ruin a fighting game. It's hard to like respond to fan demands and make it worse somehow. It's possible. The most obvious time it's possible is when they add a new character who's broken. For example, Yan and AE, but that didn't ruin the game. Ooh. It's like a parry and then block. And then he reacted to the fact that the opponent... Chun-Li didn't do anything for the parry or the block, so he's like fucking parry, block, stand strong. Kind of funny. Ultra was when I really finally started enjoying the game. Ultra was the first time they added a character I really enjoyed playing. I tolerated Ryu, I tolerated Evil Ryu, I tolerated Vega, I tolerated fucking Guile, I tolerated Cammy. I thought the game was good, but there was never a character that clicked with me. And they added Elena and she clicked. I was like, oh, so this is what it's like to have fun. Which is kind of funny because I never really gave a rat's ass about her in Third Strike. They could nerf the shit out of Elena and I still find her fun. I don't give a fuck if they nerf Elena. You know the change I would make for Elena? I've actually got two. One of them is comboing out of EX Mallet Smash was a fucking mistake. Don't make that move +5. Make that move like, +4. Make it like +2. And make it safe. Yeah, with Street Fighter, with AE, when Yan and Yang were considered to be extremely strong, there was this big mindset of either we're going to find tech against these characters, or Capcom's going to fix it. And with Elena, who isn't as broken as Yan and Yang were, there's this mindset of, there's this mindset of like what's the point of learning the matchup when we can just, when the game's only going to be alive this much longer? Elena being so combo friendly is completely diverted. It made her really strong, and it also completely diverted from her Third Strike version. Elena should not have been combo friendly. EX Mallet Smash should have been safe on block and have no combos available. And the other changes I would make it so EX Mallet and Link's Tail are only overhead and low respectively. Mallet Smash and Link's Tail are only overhead and low on their first hits. Because that's, I don't even consider that to be like a tier shift kind of change. I mean, I do. That was like stupid. It's really dumb that you can like block correctly initially and then like, but every hit is lower, every hit is overhead. You can just like accidentally start eating hits. Just because you're wobbling back and forth between up or down. It's already a mix-up for the first hit. You don't need the additional mix-up from fucking, or the additional non-mix-up from people making mistakes on their blocking direction. I don't think healing really needs a nerf. I think people give a fucking, people raise a huge stink about healing, but it's really not that bad. The thing about healing is that it's kind of good in some matchups and kind of useless in others. Or it's not ever useless, but like, it's only as good as like most ultras in a lot of matchups. It doesn't really take a setup, but also it doesn't really do a whole lot. Most ultras, like when you get the setup, they do 300 damage to the opponent, but healing when you get the setup does like plus 150 health to you. It's like plus health is less useful than, it's less useful to heal yourself than to damage the opponent in most cases. And it's also not as much like healing yourself as it would be damaging the opponent. I think that people can't really think about it rationally because it's so different from every other super. It's hard to look at in relation to other ultras, rather. It would have been less despised if it was a super. And probably it would have been better. Ooh, nice parries. Probably would have been better if she couldn't get Ultra Meter off of healed HP. If she had like a finite amount of healing she could have done per round. That would have been probably smarter. And that would make almost no tier shift. It would like hurt her against characters she dominates and not hurt her against characters she's fine against, so it would be a good change. But it's really not that good. People see the healing health and they freak out, but they don't really think about what the healing health means. Like she gets back 150 health, but she's a fucking 900 HP character. Elena with a partial healing is like as beefy as Ryu. You know what I mean? Granted, if she gets 2 partial healings per round, which is possible, it's not uncommon. Usually you only get 1 healing off, but you can get 2 if you're good. That's probably plus around 200, 300 health, somewhere in that range. A partial healing with full Ultra Meter is probably around plus 200. Compared to Ryu Ultra 1, where his 300 health 300 damage combo becomes a 500 damage combo. Impossible to hit. I'll maybe agree with that. Elena actually kind of loses to Rushdown, actually. But she does keep certain characters out pretty well. Elena beats people really well in morale. Like, people lose to Elena. People lose to motivation in with the Elena matchup. People lose to themselves. They see the heal and they're just like, well, now I can't win. And it's not true, but it would be, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Honestly, like, I did really well with Elena's healing, but let me put it as straight as I can, okay? I had more benefit from punishing attempted punishes of Elena's healing than I did from the healed health. Like, dramatically more. I would sometimes heal, like, just to bait. I would heal at positions where people would think that they had a punish when they didn't. That was like a big strat I had. And then their punish would be something unsafe, like Ryu Hard Tatsu. And then I would punish the Ryu Hard Tatsu. And that was better than the heal. People didn't know how to punish healing. Or rather, they didn't realize when there was no punish available. And if they did realize that, then they would have been doing a lot better. If Elena does a full heal, there's only 2 fucking speeds. If Elena does a full heal, you can get a full jump in combo punish on reaction. And that will do more than the damage of her heal, even if it's a meterless combo. If Elena does a partial heal, then you can't do it. You can't do shit. So all you have to do is walk in and watch to see if she did the full heal and then jump. And then do your full jump in combo. That is literally what you do. And if everyone did that, I would have such a hard time. But what people do is they either don't go for a punish at all, and I get full healings off occasionally, or they always go for punishes even when I get guaranteed partial heals, and then I punish their attempted punish. So I win on both counts because they're like too dumb about the ultra. And then those are the people who bitch about Elena's healing being overpowered. It's like, no, you're just bad. Elena's healing is really strong against certain characters, don't get me wrong, but usually it's only about as good as a normal ultra is. Honestly, like I feel like Elena's Ultra 1 is interchangeable with Ultra 2 in a lot of matchups. I feel like Elena's Ultra 1 is underrated and healing is overrated. Oftentimes I'd be fighting a Ryu and I do a partial healing and then he'd throw like an EX Fireball. And the EX Fireball wouldn't be fast enough to punish. It's like, wow, you just threw away... I mean, granted, it's not a punish. I don't get to punish him. But you just threw away a bar for nothing. A bar for 30 chip damage. Wow! That's a lot harder than it looks. That needs to be buffered. Battle Network 4 will probably be within a week. But not soon. Not on the close end of within a week. I'm not really looking forward to Battle Network 4. I'm probably going to be bitching non-stop when I'm playing it. Really? Ixotoshi? I thought that took kind of a long time to get to you. Like, it's pretty fast, but like I didn't think... It depends on screen position maybe, right? Actually, it takes Sakura Toshi about the same time to reach you regardless of how far you are from her. I'm really surprised that punishes, especially because Sakura Toshi like has... It hits... you can hit it earlier on a standing opponent, and Elena's tiny when she's healing. I'm surprised if that works. Interesting. Young could have done a bunch more stuff. He could have made her parry a bunch of times. That was kind of a mistake. Ooh. Battle Network 4 is such a shitty game compared to every other Battle Network. I mean, you can still get knockdowns into healing. But yeah, Ultra 1 is not really any worse if the opponent knows how to punish healing properly. In most matchups. If the opponent doesn't know how to punish healing, then, you know. Oh, no! You can chain low shorts and then combo a light dash punch after them, as Yon. Rarely used, but actually pretty good. It's kind of a hard hit confirm. On most characters, you can only get 2 low shorts, but I think on Chun-Li and a few others, you can get 3. 2 low shorts is pretty hard to confirm. I've been thinking about making a video where I just find Anubis U in Battle Network 2. I'm kind of pissed that I didn't find that. Or like Poise Face. Poise Mask. Or whatever it was. That one program advance I had to cheat to get. I kind of want to go back and get that. I don't think I care about the virus farms at all. The virus family. Virus farm. Virus box. Virus chips. I don't think I care. I would consider that like a switch, you know, a permanent switch. But I would consider that on a, I wouldn't normally consider that when considering like percentage of completion. I'd probably consider like what the game thinks of percentage of completion, which is the stars and the library, since you can technically get all the stars and not a full library. Second or third V triggers or supers. I kind of want an alpha style super system. I think every character should have 2 supers, and they always have those 2 supers. I think that would be cool. Then again, I really like choosing stuff before the match. But like the supers currently do like everything. You know what I mean? Like every single super like does every single thing that a super can do. You can juggle into almost every super, only not the command grab ones. You can like end combos with super for like every character. It's been a long time since we've had 2 permanent supers. But with Ultra Combo Double, I really like that. Ultra Double is what I'm thinking of. I'd probably make supers a little weaker than they are. Well, I mean, I don't know if I'd make them weaker. I'd probably nerf 1 super for everyone. I'd like take the super, like right now because every super does everything, I'd take like 1 super for everyone and make it not work in that some situation. And then I'd make the new super work in that situation. And then there would be like reasons for every character. Like overall they'd be stronger, but they'd have to make more decisions about which super they wanted to use, and they'd have to like have knowledge of which super would work in which scenario. Laura super is kind of bad. It's like okay, but you can't chip people out with it, and like it's not a one frame throw like Zangief's. I would say Laura super is fine in the sense that it's good enough, but I think it's probably one of the worst supers in the game, along with Mika's. I would call those really bad supers. But they're good enough. Like, even the worst super is still really good, just because of the general nature of how supers work. It's really difficult because of the way the screen scrolls, with the opponent being juggled, to see the startup of that universal overhead, which is why it's so good. I will say that Laura's super allows you to combo out of a low, which is extremely potent on a grappler, and also extremely potent on Laura, who has an extremely hard time comboing from lows. Very nice punish. Can't believe it took that long to kill. I will also say that Laura's super's range is kind of impressive. I like that you can just get a crush counter at like any range and then combo super. That being said, you can say that for almost any hit super. Most hit supers have crazy range. You can follow fucking nearly any crush counter in the game with any hit super. So it's not that impressive. That shimmy. He playing very safe. There's a lot of lows and no Zempo tension. What was he afraid of? Chun-Li doesn't really have an interrupt. Even if she predicts your Zempo tension, it's really hard for her to do anything about it. Why do you like Oro in this game or in general? He has a great learning curve, which is probably why I initially liked him. He's not very hard to play at a low level, and he's not very hard to play at a high level, and the progression is very straightforward. It's very clear. That's kind of Third Strike in general. It's very clear what you're supposed to be doing, but Oro especially. Through learning Oro, I learned like the mechanics of the game. But like there was nothing telling me the mechanics of the game. It was just like my own observations. It was really easy to figure out how the game worked just by observing how he worked. Like my knowledge of the juggle system in this game is almost entirely my own. It's just from my observations, not from reading about it, not from like seeing videos. There's the recorner. That's one thing. He's also just a combination of things I really like playing with. He's a character where you can show off like highly technical knowledge. He's a character where the more you know, the more you win. You know? Like you can know everything there is to know about the like the mechanics of Street Fighter 4 if you're like a Ryu player, and those don't. I mean, they help you. They help you a lot, but they don't help you that much. They don't help you as much as they do in Third Strike. Knowledge translates easily to wins for Oro. That's still true in Street Fighter 4, but more often it's character knowledge. Less often it's like game knowledge. Anyway, juggles I think are really fun. They're safe to drop. Like, it's an easy environment to learn how to do, and then once you can do it, it's very impressive looking. Um, Pokes I really enjoy playing, like really a somewhat defensive kind of pokey kind of character. I like charge characters, and he's like charge. I like his capacity to zone. I like his capacity to annoy. I like his juggles. I like his combos. I like his matchups. He interacts really interesting ways. He interacts in really interesting ways with the whole cast. Matchups are simultaneously less and more of a big deal in this game than Street Fighter 4. There's more universal answers to stuff, so less less focus on knowing your particular character's answers. I don't know. Ooh. Like every character is incentivized to sometimes do high only parries and low only parries on wake up, because otherwise they'll get parried like every single time. If you only do meaty overheads or meaty lows or meaty hot mids, like you're gonna get fucked up. And because of that, no matter which character you're fighting, if you do wake up parry high or wake up parry low, one of them is always gonna work. So it's like a mechanic that every character has makes it so it's easier to fight an opponent like a character you don't have that much knowledge on. But matchup knowledge is more important because some parries are different based on like different characters' attacks will be parried differently. You need to know the parry timings, which isn't very hard to learn. But people usually act like that's the world's hardest thing and something they'll never ever want to do. It's like, oh my god, I don't want to have to learn. I don't want to have to go to training mode and fucking learn every single parry timing. I always fucking wince whenever I see anyone say anything like that. Anything about like fucking 1,000 hours in training mode and shit like that. Because those people are dumb as fuck. I didn't have training mode for Third Strike until I'd owned the game. Or not owned, but like... I didn't have access to training mode until... I'd already been playing for like 4 years. The first time I had training mode available was when Online Edition came out. You know how I learned all my juggles? I just did them on people. I just did them, and at the beginning I was really bad and I would drop them all the time. In the beginning I would just activate Oro's super and then um I would just like try my launcher, and if it worked I would do the juggle, or I would try to do the juggle, and if it didn't work. Ooh, that's a cool Jin. That was really cool. The repeated stand fear, stand short. I like that one a lot. That's crouching opponent only, I think, and it's optimal damage mid-screen. And then I like taught myself hit confirms. I literally like invented hit confirms. Unfortunately, they already existed, but I didn't know about them, but I invented them. I would do stand strong, and I realized I could cancel the second hit into super, and I would just do that, right? I would just do stand strong 2 hits into super, and if it worked, then I would do my juggle, and if it didn't work, then I would mix up. That was my strat. Okay. Um, but then I eventually realized that I could do stand strong and only super on react. Like I could stop myself if I saw it was being blocked. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna super this time. I'm gonna wait till I get a good one. You absolutely don't need training mode to learn how to play a fighting game. And in arcades, you didn't have training mode to learn how to play a fighting game, including GGPO and Supercade and 2DF, which were basically glorified arcades. Arcades where everyone had infinite quarters and could play from across the world. I always see as a complaint for fighting games, like I don't want to be that autist who plays like 1,000 hours in training mode. God, why is it like what so many other things when you practice, you would expect like people who practice more do well, do better. That's a good thing. You know what I mean? Like fucking think about any sport. When you see some guy fucking shot put, you're like, man, that guy must have fucking practiced shot putting like a million times. He must like toss those fucking balls like, oh fuck Chun-Li. He must have gone through that motion like 1,000 times, and look how good he is at it. Look how good he is at it. Why is practice in like fighting games deemed to be a bad thing? Why is experience deemed to be a bad thing? It's like, oh, I'm not going to be competitive until I've done it like fucking as much as my opponents have. It's like, yeah, shit, that's a good thing. That might sound bullshit. You know what's even more bullshit? Is if you train for 1,000 hours and then people who have never trained at all just beat you. There's nothing wrong with practice. But people think that practice equals training mode. Practice, like casuals are better practice than training mode is most of the time. And hell, tournaments are better practice than training mode most of the time. I know it seems like a really tall mountain to climb. Seems insurmountable to like be better than people who have played for years, but you just need to play more than people who have played for years. I know that seems difficult, and people want like they want to complain about that, but the alternative is worse. The alternative is that practice doesn't pay off. It's not that practice is discouraged in fighting games, but like among people who don't play fighting games, almost always the reason they say they don't, from my experience, is they don't want to invest that time. From people who know anything about fighting games at all, they say they don't want to invest that time because like like it would take too much effort to become like competitive. But they don't say it like that. That's like me being super polite about the way they're saying it. It's usually like fucking um I don't have like I don't want to waste my life away like these fucking neckbeards do kind of thing. Fucking spending thousands of hours in training mode just to find a slightly more damaging combo. Just to make quote my numbers slightly higher. I hear people say shit like that all the time. I feel like I should address this in the video I'm supposed to be making. The intro to fighting games video. I should write this down. I should like make a note when I'm talking about how to use training mode. Also, I don't like the emphasis on hours. Like people do tend to be better if they played more, but like good practice is more important than like time invested. If you're practicing the right, if you know the right thing, then there's very little like if I knew everything that I know now about Street Fighter 4 going in, I would have been a good player in 2 days. I built muscle memory, but most of the shit that I've gotten good at is like, you know, just more knowledge about the game. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was trying to say. Pretty much nail on the head.